The Daily Tar Heel is it's a microcosm of what life is like when you work in a newspaper in a city, and that is the main news source for the community there. And so it helped me understand how to make news decisions, how to make coverage decisions, how to cover stories. It was just a wonderful experience, and that sense of being important to a community.
I have known Melanie for several years, both as an alumna of our program. She was part of the class of 1981 and someone who's been very involved in wanting to help our current students, but also in her work with the North Carolina News Workshop. Melanie's really been instrumental in helping journalists and journalism organizations work together and build a network or ecosystem in the last few years.
Today, I am the interim executive director of the NC Local News Workshop, which is a center based at Elon University, and it's there to support local news. It just started up last June, so it's still pretty new, and we work with all kinds of partners, including the Center for Local Media at UNC and the Daily Tar Heel and others to do training and support, all kinds of things that help try to build the future for local news.
A couple things I would like to mention about Melanie is that, she is, she's just really had a remarkable career in journalism. If you look back at, her time at the News and Observer with the hog waste series and that sort of thing, and then kind of move through her work in public radio, and then the work she's doing now to really kind of envision a future for journalism that's really equitable and inclusive.
Melanie's been my friend for about 40 years now. She's also been my boss and my mentor for many of those years. Being called to her office when she was the executive editor at the NNO was always a very terrifying experience because you knew you had done something wrong. And you would walk in, and the arc of a visit to Melanie's office for me was always the same. I would walk in and she would ask me, well, how did this happen? And then she would get sort of incredulous look on her face while I explained it to her. And then she would fix me with this icy stare. And for the next 2 minutes, she would absolutely rip me a new one. And just about the time you're ready to slink back to your desk and apply for a job selling insurance, she would say, but you're doing a great job, and we're doing some great things here. How's the family? I would always leave wondering, who were those two people I was just talking to?
I came to the Daily Tar Heel actually on the copy desk, which during my freshman year, and then I was a reporter on the university desk for maybe the next year. And then I was editor of a section we had called The Weekender, which was a tabloid section that was inserted in the paper. I remember doing an interview with Tom Wicker, who was a New York Times columnist and a Carolina alum, and talking about covering the big stories he'd covered over his career. And it really gave me a sense of what a career in journalism could be like, so I remember that. My senior year, I wrote a column while I was job searching because I was sending out so many resumes. There was no internet, so you send everything out in the mail, letters and resumes and clips and all that, and getting rejected. So I wrote a column. They put the headline on it, "Won't somebody please give Melanie a job?" Student journalists over the last few years have really impressed me with how they focus on what their community needs. If you love this work and you care about it, be the best you can at it. If you're good and determined, there's still a way to make it.
If you could describe her in one word, what would that word be?
So I think the word that I would use to describe Melanie is thoughtful. I think Melanie thinks very deeply and maybe in a three-dimensional way.
Melanie is brilliant and adaptive. And I say adaptive because she's always doing something new and doing it well. One day she's a features reporter, and the next day she's running a project that wins the highest prize in journalism.
Congratulations, Melanie, on being the Daily Tar Heel's 2021 Distinguished Alumna. It is a very well-deserved award. Thank you so much for your service to the Daily Tar Heel and both the journalism, the journalists, and the communities here in North Carolina.
Thank you for all these decades of support and encouragement and mentorship and leadership of our newsrooms and our business. But mostly, thank you very much for your friendship, and I love you.